A young man whistles as he's walking down the sidewalk, twirling his keyring around his finger, the jingling accompanying the whistle. It is dark. He just got off work, closing up the auto shop that he works at. As he passes in and out of circles of light provided by the streetlights, the whistling slowly fades out as the atmosphere changes around him. Suddenly, he's aware of his surroundings. The street is empty around him, silent besides the steady drip of water from the rain the past afternoon. His steps falter as the streetlight ahead of him is out, and the dark expanse lies in front of him. Gathering his courage, he enters it, ignoring the apprehension he's feeling as he walks past an alleyway. The apprehension turns into fear when a creaky voice calls out from the alleyway. It isn't quite words, and it doesn't quite sound like a person, but he shakes off that thought as paranoia introduced by the dark. "Hello?" "Hello?" the voice replies. He takes a hesitant step into the alley. "Are you okay?" "Are you okay?" The voice mimics his own again. He's 4 steps into the alley now, disappearing from sight of the street. He's too far to turn back now, but he still can't see the person speaking to him. He doesn't realize until it's too late. He doesn't even have the chance to let out a scream. There's only the dull sound of a scuffle, someone being overpowered, the light jingling of keys hitting cement, the slithering sound of something dragging along the pavement, and then the clattering of heavy metal before the streets fall deathly silent. The croaking caw of ravens is the only sound that closes the scene, a sole witness. That was 2 days ago. Tonight, a young woman is making her way home from work. Grace Santiago left later than usual, now making the short trek back to her apartment in the dark. It's as she's passing the largest grocery store in town when she hears a noise. A sharp clattering of metal on pavement brings her pause. She knows she shouldn't stop. It's past 11. Surely anything out and about at this time is up to no good. But then again, she's out and just trying to get home, and maybe someone else is too. She can't help but stop. A man's voice calls out to her from across the parking lot, coming from the alley beside the building. "Hello?" Something about the voice makes her hesitate. Something not quite right. "Are you okay?" the voice calls again. I'm fine, thanks." Something about its tone draws her closer. Something nagging at the back of her mind lures her in, making her way across the parking lot, step by step. "Are you all right? Do you need some help?" She's reached the edge of the building when she stops again. She can't bring herself to step into the shadows, out of the perceived safety of the streetlights. A figure stands in the alleyway, swaying slightly from side to side. "Do you need some help?" "Do you need help?" the voice calls out, a crude mimicry of her own coming back at her. Grace's flight instincts kick into gear a moment too late as something warm and pliable wraps around her calf. She lets out a shriek as she's pulled harshly to the ground, something sharp digging into her skin. "Are you all right?" the mimic calls as she's dragged slowly into the shadows. In a panic, she lashes out. The grip around her leg is tight, but just for a moment, for just long enough, she's able to kick it loose. Instinct takes over and she's on her feet and running, keys and wallet forgotten behind her on the concrete as the thing continues to call out to her in her own voice, mimicking her panicked screams. She turns to the only place she feels she will be safe, Pharaoh's Church of the Divine. It's getting close to midnight when Father Bell is awoken by a frantic pounding on the heavy front doors to the church. Startled and concerned, he hurries to answer the door, finding a frantic, frazzled, and frankly terrified Grace before him. She had been leaning on the door, its opening causing her to practically fall into his arms, shaking like a leaf. Please help me, I don't..." Her voice trails off into muttering nonsense. He recognizes her as a regular patron of the church, enough to know her name and her face, but not much more. He takes her in, attempting to calm her down and get a story out of her, to know what happened, what brought her here so late, and has her so scared. It was a demon. It had to be a demon. It tried to take me. It took me. It sounded like a person, like me. Father Bell, please. Please help me. Sitting down at one of the pews, Father Bell assesses damages, noticing her scraped arms and hands and the significant amount of blood pooling on her jeans. Not sure where to go from here, he turns to someone he knows can help. The local nurse that he has somewhat on call, Nathan Palmer. Without a phone to reach him, he resorts to settling Grace in the spare room at the church near his own bedroom and walking to the Palmer household. After all, it's only a few blocks away. The late-night knock on the door didn't wake Nathan Palmer as intended, but rather drew his already awake husband, Dr. Alex Palmer. Confused and concerned, he listens to the priest's tale and wakes his husband. The three head to the church, and Nathan sets about dressing the wound. It's only when he places a hand on the now bandaged leg and his hand passes through the limb that they know something strange is going on. Grace is beginning to dematerialize. Alex Palmer, well versed in the strange and eldritch, is not completely fazed. He's seen weirder. Leviathan Bell also is not too fazed, having dealt with demons and powers beyond his understanding his whole life. After managing to get some information about where the attack happened from Grace, the two of them head off, leaving Nathan to care for the injured woman. Across town, a motorcycle revs to life. Ananiel Malice, newcomer to the town and local archivist, has been urged out of his apartment so late by his companion, a spirit tied to a prosthetic eye around his neck, affectionately nicknamed Shark. She identified a strange feeling, a creature nearby, active and dangerous. "Can't you just tell me where we need to go?" he asks.
You know that's not how this works, Ananiel.
Like a sonar detector, they ride around town, Shark guiding their path until they happen upon the place that the creature most recently was, pulling into the grocery store parking lot just as Alex and Levi arrive. The trio meet for the first time, Ananiel revealing his hobby as a cryptid enthusiast and blogger, the name surprisingly recognized by Leviathan. Realizing that they're all here for the same purpose, he has Shark reveal herself, proving that he is more than just your average bystander. Palmer and Ananiel get the chance to investigate for just a little while, finding evidence of the attack on Grace, as well as the manhole cover, slightly ajar. They learn that this creature, whatever it may be, must be an ambush predator, drawing prey in before attacking, poisoning, and, presumably, consuming them. Before they can gather much more information, their attention is drawn by police sirens. Heading to investigate, they find the scene of another attack, already blocked off by the local police. Having failed to convince the police to let them into the scene to investigate, Leviathan reveals his power for the first time, pausing to kneel, using magic to track the creature, finding it indeed in the sewers, but only realizing exactly where it is when the bell of the church rings 1 a.m., from right above it. It's coming to finish off its prey. Rushing to the church, they find the creature, an amalgamation of shapes and forms, the decoy visage of a person standing before the doors. It's plant-like and malleable, changing its shape to suit its needs. Leviathan does his best to reason with it, talk it down from violence, in his pacifistic nature, but it's ultimately a futile attempt. Between attacks from Shark as she manifests into a physical form, Alex's gun enhanced with her help, and magical protection from Leviathan, they make it out of the fight more or less unscathed. Only a few scrapes that are easily healed by Levi. Killing the creature seems to free Grace from the effects of its poison just in time to save her from becoming unmade entirely. With the promise to regroup and discuss what happened at a more reasonable time, they part ways, each back to their own homes. Alex, in particular, headed back to have a difficult conversation with his husband, with a lot of explaining to do. That night, Leviathan has a strange dream, a dream of stone steps winding down into the depths of the earth and an oppressive presence surrounding him, a dream that is too real to simply be nothing.